Hello students, today we will discuss on operational amplifier and it is abbreviated as op-amp. Op-amp is the abbreviation and the full name is operational amplifier. Now the first question will arise that why the name is operational amplifier and what type of operation it will perform. Operational amplifier is one analog electronic circuit or device which can perform some linear operations such as summation, subtraction, differentiation, integration, etc. How the op-amp is constructed and with the help of op-amp what we can achieve in electronics, that is the objective of the class. So first we will start from the construction of an op-amp, then we will see its characteristics, then we will go towards the applications of op-amp, then we will try to solve some problems on it. First let me show you how the op-amp circuit look like. Op-amp, the example of op-amp is IC 741. How the IC looks like I will show you, but before that let me sketch the circuit diagram for one op-amp. Actually it is the symbol diagram, not the circuit diagram. Actually this is the op-amp. On the op-amp there will be two input terminals. The top one will be negative terminal or inverting terminal, the bottom one will be called non-inverting terminal, and sidewise two more connections will be there which will be positive bias supply plus VCC and negative bias supply minus VCC, and this will be the negative sign indicates this is inverting terminal. It will be called VI for input 1, and this will be called VI input 2. So as for this particular case, and we can sketch the output as the output voltage V0. This is output. Now how many connections, how many points we have discussed till now? I have discussed first one. This one is the negative sign indicates that this terminal is called inverting terminal, that if you apply any signal in this particular input terminal, then its phase will be inverted in the output. That if you are applying some positive voltage, it will appear negative in sign in the output terminal. That is why this terminal is called the inverting terminal. That is, it inverts the actual polarity. Plus sign indicates it is non-inverting terminal. That is, you apply any voltage here, it will be going towards the output with the same phase, with the same polarity. That is why it is called the non-inverting terminal. This plus VCC and minus VCC, these are the bias voltage for the op-amp. These are the actually you can call these are the fuel, that if you connect the op-amp with the plus VCC and minus VCC, then the op-amp will be operated. And these are the particular input terminals where you can apply any voltage according to the required performance of the op-amp. That if you want to set your op-amp in the particular summation mode or differentiation mode, you will apply input or input voltages in the inverting and the non-inverting terminal accordingly. Okay, so how this is the actually symbol diagram of the op-amp, and how the IC looks like I will show it in a book. You focus here. This one is the construction of the IC. This IC 741, this will have 8 terminals. Out of these 8 terminals there will be some sign of this cut mark. This you have to put it up, then you have to start counting from the left side. Terminals, how many legs are there? 8 legs are there. 1 2 3 4, then 5 6 7 8. Okay, so you are starting from 1 is called the null offset, nothing to be connected here. 2 will be the inverting input, this one the inverting terminal. 2 will be the inverting terminal. 3 will be the non-inverting terminal. Then with 4 minus VCC, and with 7 plus VCC. With 8 no connection. Output will be on terminal number 6 and 5 null offset. Okay, So this is the connection. This is the symbol diagram of IC741. This is the actual op-amp, and symbol diagram will make it simplified. Only we will sketch this part: the plus VCC minus VCC output, inverting terminal and non-inverting terminal. And how the op-amp is being constructed. The construction of op-amp is very complex. That it is looking like a small simple configuration, but inside it several transistors, capacitors, resistors, circuits will be there. And in the op-amp, in our syllabus, only this part is included. You have to look at the black box type circuit. That inside the circuit, what is happening, this is none of your business. You have to look that if you apply a particular input voltage in the inverting terminal, or if you apply particular input voltage in the output terminal, how you will look at the operations of the op-amp. Now, how the op-amp may be used as a summing amplifier, how it can be used at differential amplifier, integrator, differentiator, and so on. So you don't have to focus inside the op-amp, that what the mechanism is going to be inside the op-amp. This is none of your business, but still, for curiosity, I am showing you that how actually the circuit inside the op-amp looks like. These are the circuit inside the op-amp, and these are the legs of the IC741. And look inside this op-amp, how many transistors, resistors, these are connected in a particular configuration to behave it as IC. IC means integrated circuit. So let us proceed. Now we look at the op-amp, the characteristics of op-amp. First, let me tell that op-amp, it is a voltage control device. That is, you can change its mechanism, you can control its mechanism, controlling the input and output voltages in the inverting and non-inverting terminal. That is why this op-amp is called the voltage controlled device. Now we look at the characteristics of op-amp. If you are considering the ideal op-amp, the characteristics are set theoretically. But when you are looking at the real state or real op-amp, that is the op-amp in practice, there will be little deviation between the characteristics. That is the characteristics which are expected and the characteristics which you are getting in reality. First, I am not writing all this detail. I will just go through it, and you have to go through any book to have the notes on it. But I will discuss all the points. The first point will be its open loop voltage gain. Op-amp is it is one type of feedback amplifier. Op-amp is negative feedback amplifier. What does it mean, negative feedback amplifier? And what does it mean by feedback amplifier? Feedback amplifier is a particular device where you are using a part of the output again to feed in the input. And if you are considering this particular symbol diagram, suppose I am connecting a point from this output terminal and connecting it with the input terminal. Then I am feeding a part of the output voltage in the input terminal again. And this will behave as amplifier, and this is good and required for the stability of the amplifier. And in op-amp we use generally the negative feedback amplifier. That is I am using the feedback with the negative terminal or inverting terminal. This is called negative feedback amplifier. So in case of amplifier, if you are looking at the open loop voltage gain, the open loop voltage gain for ideal op-amp, that should be infinitely high or infinity. But in real op-amp it is high, it is really high, but not that high towards infinity, but it is really high. Its input resistance, there is the resistance in the input circuit, input resistance is infinity. But in real op-amp, the input resistance is not infinity, but it is really high. It is of the order of some mega ohm. If you are looking at the output resistance in the output terminal, the output resistance should be 0 in case of ideal op-amp. But in real op-amp, the output resistance is not 0, but very low, a few ohm. If you are looking at the bandwidth of real op-amp should be infinitely high. But in real op-amp, the bandwidth is high, really high, but not as high as infinity, but it is of the order of some 10 to the power 4 or something. And op-amp is real op-amp is perfectly balanced. Perfectly balanced means what? It characteristics that will not change on temperature. But in real op-amp, the characteristics do change with temperature. Why? Because as you have seen that op-amp is nothing but one type of semiconductor device, because inside it several transistors, several resistors, these are there. So one semiconductor device will change its characteristics upon temperature. So with application of temperature, the characteristics will change, and so the real op-amp will change its characteristics to certain extent upon application of temperature. Its slew rate is infinity in case of ideal op-amp, but slew rate is high but not infinity in case of real op-amp. The input bias current is 0. Input bias current is not 0 in case of real op-amp. The actual values are like that. If you are looking at the input impedance is high for real op-amp. It is of the order of 50 kilo ohm. If you are looking at the output resistance, it is very low for real op-amp. It is of the order of 0.75 ohm. The bandwidth is very high. It is of the order of 90 kilohertz. And if you are looking at the input bias current, it is not 0, but it is very small, of the order of 10 milliampere or something. But I have only gone through this, but these characteristics you can jot down in your copy after looking at any book. These are very simple, and just you have to memorize a few points. That what about the open loop voltage gain, what about the input resistance, what about the output resistance, and what about the input bias current, what about the bandwidth. These points you have to only memorize, and based on that, in real ideal op-amp what should be the values, but in real op-amp actually what the values you are getting, you have to just memorize this one. Now let us go towards one important aspect. This is called virtual ground and summing point. So what is virtual ground and what is summing point? Let us look on that. Virtual ground and summing point. Let me sketch the circuit diagram for virtual ground and summing point. I am trying to sketch one op-amp in its real operation. This is inverting terminal, non-inverting terminal, then these are the bias voltages. This is plus VCC and this is minus VCC. This is output voltage. Output voltage will be always measured with respect to ground. This is V0, and let me ground the non-inverting terminal, and in the inverting terminal, suppose one voltage Vi is applied. It is also measured with respect to ground, and there is one resistance connected with it. I am using now the feedback circuit. This is the feedback circuit. This is RF feedback circuit. The connection is like that. So how the current is flowing? The current is flowing through this point is suppose it is I1, and through this terminal current flowing is I2. In case of op-amp, if you look at the now characteristics of op-amp, and if you have one multimeter with you, you will see that if the non-inverting terminal is grounded, then at the point A or at this point, the connecting point with the non-inverting terminal, the voltage appears to be 0. That is, as it is also grounded. The connection is such, or configuration of op-amp is such inside it. I am again repeating, at this particular point, suppose in the non-inverting terminal, plus terminal, if it is grounded, then it will appear that the inverting terminal is also being grounded. Because of these characteristics, this particular configuration is called virtual grounded, because this point is not really grounded. Which point is grounded? The non-inverting terminal is grounded, but because of the configuration or characteristics of the op-amp, it will appear that this point or point A is grounded. That is why this is called virtual ground. There no real ground connection is there. Despite that, it appears to be grounded. And what is summing point? What I told already about the feedback amplifier, that in the feedback amplifier, what we generally do, we generally feed a portion of the output voltage again in the input terminal. As I am using it in the inverting terminal, this will be negative feedback amplifier, and look, Suppose from this input terminal I am generating output here. A part of the output again is being fed in the input, and at this point the two currents are being added. That is why this point A, this will be called summing point. That is, two currents from the input and a part of the output is being summed at the point A. That is why this point A is called summing point. Now there may be a question that why this point why the voltage Vi is being reduced to 0 at this particular point, and why this appears to be grounded. You can look at it that some voltage is being applied here, a portion of the voltage being inverted here, and it is coming here again meeting at the point. If you consider that there is some certain amplification, despite that also voltages of two opposite polarity are meeting at this point, that's why it should appear to be grounded. Then we are coming to one aspect, that is another characteristics feature of the op-amp. It is called common mode rejection ratio, or CMRR. Common mode rejection ratio. It is also called CMRR. So let me try to sketch first one simple diagram of op-amp where I am using two of the input terminals, and in the two of the input terminals some voltage is being applied. Suppose this is terminal A and this is terminal B. This is inverting, non-inverting, and this is inverting terminal. There you are applying positive voltage, here you are applying negative voltage, and here in the terminal C you are calculating the output voltage. So let us consider that the voltage gain when this B is grounded, I am writing it, A1 is the voltage gain when B is grounded, and A2 is the voltage gain when A is grounded. Okay, so if we are applying V1 voltage here and V2 voltage here, then the differential voltage that can be written as Vd, that will be equals to V1 minus V2, and average voltage that can be written as Vc, that can be written as V1 plus V2 by 2. So what about now this V0? There is a voltage in the output terminal. What will be its value? You can write V0 as A1 into V1, that is the voltage gain of the terminal A. I have already written it as A1 plus A2 into V2, that is the voltage gain for the terminal B into V2, voltage applied at V2. So from that you can write again V1 will be equals to Vc, that this Vc average voltage plus half of Vd, and V2 that will be equals to Vc minus half of Vd. So if you add these two, if you are applying this, suppose this is equation 1, this is equation 2, and this is equation 3, this plus minus sign will differ if you change the value of V1 and V2 in the input and or the output terminal. If you have in the inverting or non-inverting terminal, if you are using V1 here and V2 here, the plus minus sign will change here, interchange here. So if you are applying the values of equation 2 and 3 on the equation 1, what you will be getting? You will be getting V0 equals to half of A1 minus A2 plus VC into A1 plus A2. Now I am using two more constants and rewriting it in the fashion V0 equals to AD, there will be some VD, AD into VD plus AC into VC, where the value of AC equals to A1 plus A2 and AD equals to half of A1 minus A2. Now this AC is called common mode signal, and this AD, this is called differential signal. And from that you can calculate the common mode rejection ratio CMRR, and the expression for CMRR, the expression for the CMRR, that will be equals to AD by AC with a modulus, and if you are writing in decibel then it will be equals to 20 log 10 AD by AC. This is the expression for CMRR, 20 log 10. Now let us move towards another part of characteristics of op-amp. In these characteristics we will look at the offset error voltage and offset error current. What is offset error voltage and current? In the op-amp, in reality, suppose you are applying V1 and V2 both are equal, then the op-amp is perfectly balanced, as you know. Let me sketch one op-amp first. Suppose in this terminal I am applying V1, in this terminal I am applying V2. As one op-amp is perfectly balanced, if V1 equals to V2, then the value of output should be 0. But in practice, because of the mismatch of the circuits in the inverting and non-inverting terminal, there is a inbuilt circuit. What is inbuilt circuit? The configuration of the transistors, the resistors which are connected inside the op-amp, because of the little mismatch between them, you are not getting exactly 0 value. A small voltage is being appeared in the output terminal. This is called the offset error voltage. Similarly, the offset error current will also appear in same fashion because of the mismatch, which gives a small bias current flowing through the input terminal. So how to calculate these values? I am again sketching one simple configuration of op-amp. This minus plus VCC and minus VCC are there. Then I am connecting the input terminal with some voltage, also the non-inverting terminal with another bias voltage. Suppose this is VB2 and this is VB1. These are the bias voltages. Current flowing through it is IB2, input bias current, and here it is IB1. This is the output. Output is always measured with respect to ground, so this is V0. Now input bias current is the half of the sum of individual currents entering the two input terminals. in one balanced amplifier. The configuration is shown. So input bias current will be equals to IB is half of the current flowing through the input terminals, that is IB1 plus IB2, when V0 equals to 0, output is 0. And input offset current can be, this is IB is input bias current. And input offset current this is written as I0. This will be equals to the difference between the individual currents entering the input terminals in one balanced amplifier. That is, it will be IB1 difference IB2. I am not writing minus, I am writing difference because of the definition. And input offset voltage V0 is the voltage to be applied at the output terminal when the two input terminals are grounded. Output offset voltage it is written as VO0. It is the particular voltage which is to be applied at the output terminal when the two input terminals are grounded in order to balance the amplifier. So these are the main characteristics of the op-amp, and these are the main components of the op-amp that you should know before going towards the application of op-amp. So let me conclude here. In this video we have already characterized and have seen the different components in respect of current or voltage which are related to op-amp, or one example of op-amp was IC741. And now we will look towards the applications of op-amp, starting from inverting amplifier, non-inverting amplifier, and so on.